April Shields. Welcome to Chasing the Win. You are the Head of Submissions for Built. What a role. You've been in it a long time now.
Been a lot, 13 years now. I've seen a lot.
You have. I really want to talk about the digital future of bids, because I know that you've done some amazing stuff over the last few years. Everyone's being told to digitise bidding, like faster, smarter, more AI. But it seems like in the real world, in the world we live in, the outcomes are wildly uneven. So I really want to unpack why that is with you.
You've hit the nail on the head. That's what I was told 3 years ago. Go and get AI. And my team was selected first because it seemed like a really easy target to use AI. And there are a lot of variances, I guess, in how the tools are adopted and how effective they are. But I think it's not always the tool for a start, and that's what we always think, what's wrong with the tool? But to put it in, I guess, bid language, what's more important is the benefit, not the features. So quite often tools are just rolled out and you're just like, here it does this, 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 this and this. And that's kind of meaningless. So what we did instead was we tried to surface what the problem we were trying to solve was. And what that looked like for us was we were told the mission. Our mission was to be Australia's #1 contractor.
Okay.
One of the metrics for that was to grow the business from 1 billion to 4 billion revenue.
Yeah.
And how do I do that with the team that I have that are already doing a high volume of lower value bids?
Yeah.
So the problem that I needed to solve was, how do I ensure my team is equipped to do a less volume of bids, but more complex, high impact work? The value of those bids is higher.
Yeah.
And whether or not we win or lose those bids means more.
Right.
So that was the problem we were trying to solve.
And this is 3 years ago when AI was just this concept flying around. It wasn't something anyone really
It was just a
understood.
word, right?
It was just an acronym, wasn't it?
So we just decided that we didn't need to do more bids, but every AI company was, this is how you're going to get more done with less. Whereas that wasn't my metric for success. I needed to make my people more useful with what we already had.
When organisations invest in new tools or new systems, how do teams then become more effective?
Well, again,
instead of more chaotic?
Yeah, exactly. So again, we're trying to solve a problem that we had, that our team had, right? And we were looking at tools that, they shortcutted a governance process or they put things into templates for us. But we already had strong governance. We already had a strong pipeline. Yeah. We already had an offshore team that was doing all the templates and stuff for us. So every tool that came to us was like, they were trying to solve for something that I didn't actually need. And then I looked at my team and said, where do we actually waste time? And it's always looking for content.
Looking for content.
Okay. Always looking for content. So the AI tool that we ended up choosing, which we chose as a team, which we trialled as a team, which we invested in as a team, simply did that for us. It safely linked to our libraries so that we could semantically search for content appropriate to the bid that we were on, and it would aggregate those responses, right? Instead of just giving you 10 different responses, it would go, here's the best bits from 10 different ones, and here's an aggregated response.
We did it as a team. Talk to me about that.
Yeah,
How meaningful is that?
Well, again, because we don't want to just hand someone a tool and say, here's all the features, go and use it. My team of 15 people, including 8 offshore, they're already very effective at what they did. They're already a high-performing team. And actually, the very first question I asked them said, the cost of this is equivalent to the cost of a whole new person.
Okay.
And we have to decide as a team if this is something we actually want, and we're going to trial it and we're going to test it, and you're going to tell me, would another person be able to help you do this more effectively, or does this tool help you do your job more effectively? And we all trialled it for over a month, and universally every single person in my team said, I actually don't need a new person. What this gives me is more autonomy over my role. What this gives me is more time to spend on higher value activities, which means I can spend more time with the team. I can spend more time with SMEs. I can understand our solution better so that I can bid better.
It enhanced the skills and expertise and professionalism of the team you already had.
Yeah.
And it didn't diminish your team, did it? It
At all.
didn't. No one lost a job over it.
No, absolutely
No.
not. Absolutely
No.
not. And in fact, it's over the 3 years, it's only highlighted more that the level of competency of my team needed to execute what we're doing now is tenfold what we were doing 3 years ago. Like, we're bidding on Brisbane Stadium at the moment, as you know, everyone knows, which is massive for us. Where when I first started at Built, the biggest job we had was $100 million job.
That's extraordinary. You've gone from hundreds of millions to billions in the space of 3 years. And obviously there's a lot surrounding that with the business and how extraordinary that growth has been. The second thing I just want to unpack in that is the quality of content. Like, you had quality content to begin with, didn't
That's
you?
it, isn't it? Isn't that the important thing? Garbage in, garbage out. Like, if you just asked AI without any source whatsoever to generate a response to a bid question, you've seen it.
Yeah,
it's total garbage.
I've seen it, yeah. Yeah.
It just comes up with buzzwords, right?
Yeah.
It just sounds like corporate fluff, but it doesn't have any real meaning behind it. But because we're able to link decades of submission libraries, because I've been managing submission libraries for decades, the content that it surfaces is of such higher quality that's relevant to our business. And that's the most important thing, is you can go and source a question or an answer from anywhere in the world that you think's relevant, but what your business needs to respond to is always going to be different to someone else's. How my business responds is always going to be different. My risk position is different. My value offering is different. My culture and behaviours are different, and they present differently in bids. So just having a, I guess, coherent response that people want to hear isn't enough to win bids.
No. How over time are you going to maintain that quality? I guess there's a thought in my mind that people will become just dependent on the quality that's sitting within the system, and they won't necessarily come back out of it and elevate it further. How are you going to make sure that doesn't happen? That you elevate,
that you don't water that content down.
That you don't, in effect, water the quality of the content down over time.
It's something that I've thought about a lot, and I think it goes back to some of the questions that we were all going to answer before.
Well, I will. I promise. I'll come back to them.
It's get judgment, governance, and clarity, right? And the leadership behaviours around all of those things. So we're not relying on AI to give us just the answer, because that's all it does. It gives us the answer. We need to spend our time improving that for that specific output. So because we've got more time to do that, because our first drafts are of better quality, we're giving better starting points for our SMEs. I actually think the overall quality of our bids is improving.
Yes.
They are more tailored, they are more client-centric because of that extra time that we have to add in, that the value doesn't actually diminish at all.
So you've got time to exercise your judgment.
Yes.
Wow.
And you have to empower people to exercise that, right?
You do.
So, you have to make sure that you give the space for that thinking, and it's very clear on those leadership behaviours. When I say to my team, we've got this AI tool, the expectation isn't that you're going to just produce more.
No.
The expectation, and the metrics of success have been very clear with my team from the start. The expectation is you're able to get to first drafts very, very quickly. But you need to spend the rest of the time that you would have saved improving the quality and having those gateways and judgment processes.
Exercising your judgment, asking the tough questions. Yeah, human interaction. Yes.
And so this is the thing that, the most extraordinary thing that I've just been thinking about this week is our people during COVID all went offline. We all worked remotely, and we did it seamlessly, and we all decided it was entirely possible to work in our own little offices, and we could do all of our jobs like that. And that's still the case. It's still very much true. But I've realised now with AI, if that's all you're doing is sitting behind a computer, then AI will take your job.
Yes.
Because you're just doing computer work at that point.
Yes.
And then where does our value come in? Human. The human interaction. So I'm bringing people more into the office. I'm flying people around more than I used to, because the time that we have freed up now is time to spend with each other, to understand what the benefit is to the client, what the problem is we're trying to solve, and really bring those strategic anchors into the bid. Whereas before we didn't have time, we just it was a puppy mill, right?
Yeah. It's such a different mindset though, and you're actually changing the narrative. You're actually flipping the narrative on AI and on its application to a what does it do for us to enhance human connectivity, to enhance human interaction, to actually be able to bounce those ideas that enhance what we're creating.
An example.
Yes, please.
We used to write meeting notes all the time, and quite often, as women in a male-dominated workplace, I was often tasked with that job.
Were you? And getting some water.
Get us some water, and can you take the notes?
Yes.
And I would spend more time taking the notes than interacting or contributing to those meetings.
Yes.
And now I insist on AI notes because they take better notes than I did anyway, and I can ask it questions that I forgot to ask at the time.
Yes.
Which frees me up to contribute meaningfully in a meeting now. And that's just a small example that gets amplified across like multiple opportunities where AI can do what you worried about before so that you can worry about what you're doing as a human.
But that's even changing a cultural dynamic. I know that your company has always respected your capability as a professional, but I'd never imagined that AI could actually be a tool for feminism. But it is, and you know what an advocate I am for tendering as an art form, but also for women in the profession.
In so many ways. Like this expands beyond taking meeting notes. Like the thing that we get told so often in submissions, can you make it look pretty?
Yep.
And to an extent, we still need to do that, right? And AI isn't quite at the point where it's doing a very good job of that. It will though, 100%.
And we still need to advocate against that language, but it can free you up to be more creative.
Yes.
It can free you up to take the time to actually look at the way in which you have actually professionally presented documents in the past and really enhance
and
that, really elevate that.
And you've sat behind a computer where no one's ever spoken to, and you've just done the hard work that no one notices.
Yes.
And now all of a sudden you can just set that aside while you go and talk to someone.
Yeah.
You've got to reinvest that time in talking to people.
Amazing. So what would you say, before introducing any form of just digital tool or AI in a bid environment, what do you think needs to be already in place? What elements do you have to have in order first? Governance, okay. Governance. Define that for me. Talk me through that.
Governance can sound clunky, it can sound slow, and it can sound disempowering to some people. It takes authority away from you because there's a structure in place that means you don't get to make decisions. But if you have governance in place around AI, what it can do, what it can't do, what are the rules of engagement? So for example, with our tool, I won't let anyone use it until they've passed their probation period. That gives us enough time to train them. That gives enough time for them to understand what good looks like to us and our behaviours and our culture around how we use it. Yep. It's only after that they're allowed to use it. So those things need to be in place, which makes people very comfortable with where they sit.
Okay.
If you don't have the governance in place and you just go, here, have AI, they don't know where it starts, they don't know where it finishes, you end up with a lot more of that AI slop we talk about.
Okay.
So maybe an example was early days when we're testing it, we had someone that was more junior in the role, didn't understand built our tone of voice and the language propositions that we put forward, and they did some introductions on CVs.
Okay.
AI looks perfect to that person, sounds like good prose, sound like
reasonably written.
You're like, yeah, okay, that sounds like something someone would write. But to the more senior people in the business, we go, we wouldn't write like that.
Yes,
that's
that
not
doesn't
how
reflect us.
That's not how I would talk about Deb.
Yep.
And that doesn't present any value to the client. All it is describing someone. Deb's got a black jacket on. It's not useful for anyone. Yes. But it's right though, isn't it? So you can't say, no, I'm sorry, you're wrong. But we would talk about someone that's linked to the project attributes, for example.
Yes.
And they didn't use prompts in that way. So once we realised a few of those things that were surfacing early in that testing period, we put some sort of gateways in place.
I love that, because they still have to learn the skills. They still have to know what it is to be a tenderer. They still have to know what it is to create great content.
Yes.
And then the tone of voice and the framing and the client centricity that goes into it.
Why are you doing this?
Yes.
That's the question that just so few people ask the next why.
Yes.
They ask one why, but they never get to the next one or the next one. There's an endless series of but why.
So what? Yeah.
Exactly. And then it's the more senior people in the business that are better at recognising that. But that's also where the problem lies.
Well, I was just about to go there. So let's explore that. How have you had to position the use of these digital tools and AI and systems with them so that they understand it is not just it's not just a more efficient puppy mill?
Exactly. So you have to make it clear what it's there to do and what it's not to do, what the metrics of success are. And again, what is the problem we're solving? The benefit to them and the benefit to us. What I'm still trying to work out is how, I'm obviously very into elevating people and bringing people up through the chain. How do you then bring on juniors that have no idea what they're doing, and how do you bring new people in the industry when at the moment AI is doing what they could do better than a junior? This is something
I think
that
that's
I'm
what
looking
we're all
at as a
grappling with.
long-term thing, right?
Yeah, I think many organisations are grappling with that. Graduate level positions are theoretically being replaced by AI, but you can't replace learning. You can't. You still have to train people to do the jobs that we now sit here and do.
And is the answer that these people need to be better at AI than we are, not better at tendering? They bring a skill set that you don't have. Like my senior team has a vast skill set over many, many years of experience. Graduates come in and they don't know those things. But you kind of can't be bothered to teach them because I could just ask AI to do that.
But then how do they learn to be that in the future? How do they learn to be the professionals that you are now?
I haven't solved that question yet.
No.
I'm still working on that one.
I'm asking it
theoretically.
Theoretically.
That's something that does worry me, because there is a future where there won't be new people coming into this industry if we don't nurture it.
I'm not sure that's a question we're going to be able to answer in our podcast, but I'm going to keep contemplating it, and I think it's a conversation worth having with our industry.
I think so. I think it's just something just to put out there as something to consider for the long-term future of our profession.
Yeah, absolutely. In high-pressure bid situations, because we know we are always under pressure, I must say I'm tired right now, what role does clarity play in how teams make decisions and prioritise their work now, having brought in a tool to allow that space and time for judgment, allow that space and time for strategy, human engagement, SME engagement?
Well, we all know that when people don't have clarity, like simple things like, who do I ask for X? Who do I get to review X? Who has decision or authority over this thing that I'm doing? I see people waste hours just trying to figure that out. And having those things set early, that's what clarity means to me, so that you don't spin your wheels all the time trying to figure out where my effort goes.
Yes.
So if you have clarity through good leadership mechanics, then you're able to get to the problem solving quicker. You're able to look at the strategy, execute the strategy, look at how you improve the actual submission for your client, rather than going, but what decision gets made here?
Yeah.
And by who, and who do I talk to? Particularly with SMEs as well. Like if you are given time to do a first draft on behalf of an SME, you're more inclined to then have a better value conversation with them about what the next level looks like.
I love that, because one of the things that we always come up against is, I have a day job.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, that's a constant refrain from subject matter experts and operational people is, I have a day job. So if you working with the tool can bring a front-end draft to them that is more considered, more strategic, has more judgment, then you're going to use their time far more effectively.
And that's what we've seen, right? Like even the most basic things, I reckon maybe 3 years ago, most people came to me with, hey Apes, when was the last time we wrote about cost management? Drive me up the wall.
Yesterday?
Literally every day, part? How long is a piece of string?
Yeah.
Right? Whereas instead, I never get those questions anymore.
Okay.
Because it's already been drafted for them.
Yeah.
And they're the most basic things in my mind. But then when they see it in front of them, they go, okay, cool. So cost management in this case needs to look different.
Yes.
And for this client, where they have a cash flow in like issue potentially, where you have to front end all of the work before a certain financial year,
Yep.
you can talk to that
You
instead
can
of
talk-
just a process.
Yes.
You're not like, cash flow looks like this.
A, B, C, D.
Congratulations, you know how cash flow works.
Yes.
Whereas this person goes, all of a sudden, I'm freed up to tell them exactly what this means for
And I'm
them.
freed up to get in front of the cost planner
Yeah.
and to say, here's the draft. We understand from the client that they want a front end A, B, and C.
Yeah.
Can you tell me how we can make this contextual and bespoke within the process for that client?
100%. That's
So
it.
you don't need to have the expertise, you don't need to know the answer,
No.
but you at least have the context, have the time, have the space to get a far more bespoke answer on your second draft.
And we've spoken about this before. When you ask someone to create something from scratch, they just freak out.
They freak out.
They freak out.
lose
say,
the
I
plot.
couldn't possibly.
Blank page, I can't, blank page.
And I go, well, this is your topic of expertise. Surely all you want to do is tell everyone about this thing that you know so much about. But they always freak out. Whereas if you tell them what you think,
Yeah.
9 times out of 10, they go,
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's
what is that rubbish?
Just cross it out. Yeah.
Don't they?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you get to a better outcome
Yeah.
that's better for your client and has improved outcomes in your bids.
So we've been doing that physically for years. I mean, the joy of the square brackets, you know, my team and I, and you, no doubt, it's like you put something in square brackets you know is actually probably not
Totally
even correct.
wrong.
And you manipulate the person into looking at it and going, you are so wrong. It's like, I want to be wrong here because I need you to bring your expertise to the table. So you're actually now able to go with a really solid square bracketed, almost accurate response and say, I need you now to make this bespoke.
And what we see now in the comments after the first drafts is too broad, contextualise it.
Fabulous.
Whereas before we used to say things like, is this true?
Okay. Okay.
Do
so
we
you
know
it's
this for
true.
fact? So we know. So now it's true.
Yes.
But it has not been narrowed enough for that.
I love that. I actually love that. I'm feeling really buoyant about this. So what have you seen happen to team behaviour when leadership is consistent and predictable as opposed to when it isn't?
One of the scariest things that happens in bids, and I'm sure you agree with this, is when things go quiet. When things go quiet, nothing good is happening.
No.
Because that means that, again, decisions are unclear. So someone's off doing something that they're not sure is right and they're afraid to speak
Or
up.
they've gone off on a tangent
Gone
and
off
they're
on a
not sure if
tangent.
it's the right one.
Yeah, and then risks aren't getting surfaced and
Yep.
decisions aren't being made.
Yep.
And everyone just goes off and does their own thing. And it's not until the last moment that you realise that you've been on the wrong page
Yep.
for an extended period of time. And then you have to come back and rework everything. When leadership is very clear with what the expectations are, what good looks like, where you're allowed to use your own judgment with
Yes.
a risk scenario.
Really
for
empowering,
example.
yeah.
It empowers them to make good decisions.
Yeah.
And then where they're not sure, they're very free to raise
It empowers
with you.
them to ask
Yeah.
the question. So are you finding in the last 3 years, would you say that the rework on bids has diminished over time?
Very much so. Because the first pass is better, because the quality of the conversations that we're having is better. And like, it sounds like this is magic, right? It didn't happen overnight.
No.
It's not at all, like it's not at all magic.
Not a panacea at all.
And there's a whole massive learning curve with prompting and all of
Yeah.
this. It's not like the tool arrived and all of a sudden we're brilliant.
But you also came with a strong culture, a strong team, a strong quality, a strong work ethic. So we want to say that. You came with all the best foundations to be able to apply this tool.
That's a really important point to make as well, is that we knew what was good about what we did, not just what
Already.
we needed to solve.
Yes, yes.
So instead of just going, here's a problem we need to solve, let's focus on that, we also made sure we articulated what was already working,
Yes.
what we didn't need to solve for. Don't bother doing those things because it's already fantastic.
We've already got that
and
in hand.
if you can solve this problem so that you can elevate those elements,
Yes.
then that
Wonderful.
improves everything. It's an employee value proposition as well.
Yes.
Like I've got a very high performing team that I'm very proud of. And quite often I would think to myself, how lucky is it that I have a team like this? And then I sat myself on the wrist and go, it's nothing to do with luck. It's
absolutely right.
actually building it through leadership capability, right?
Yes.
And then now that I've got such a high-performing, amazing, functional team, how do I maintain that? And that comes back to that question of what do you want in your role?
Yes.
Making sure that the people in my team know that I value their contribution, and that if they want another person and not AI because that's going to elevate them, they were free to give me that feedback.
But they didn't. Yeah.
Because they realised that their jobs meant more because they were taking the lower value tasks up.
They're playing more meaningful roles in actually winning bids.
Yeah, I don't get the complaints like I used to of such and such can't see what I do. They just think I changed the font colour.
Yes.
Or they don't know that I can help them.
They think I'm a glorified proofreader.
Yeah. Or they treat me like an administrator and I'm just really good at booking meetings.
Yeah. Yeah.
But now we're actually, and I don't know if the rest of the business realises how they see us, how that has changed, because it has been incremental. It's just been moving little chess pieces slowly. It wasn't just an overnight thing.
No.
It wasn't this transformation that everyone just wakes up the next day and goes, all of a sudden.
And AI only played a very small part in that.
Yeah, exactly.
That is leadership. That is culture change. That is advocating for tendering and bid management and proposal management as an art form.
Yeah.
And that advocacy has to be there. If organisations don't have that foundation to begin with and they just throw AI in there as the panacea to all ills, I don't think they're going to see the results that they want. They have to have it.
No, exactly.
They have to have the foundation to begin with.
And AI is a broad word as well. AI
Yes.
for what?
AI for what?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Looking ahead, what does good leadership look like in a world where these tools seem to be evolving faster than the way people naturally work?
I'm always thinking about the future, right? So one of the governance thing, like I will harp on about it because it's the only thing that we're going to have left when AI does everything. I do believe that there is a point where an AI agent will come up and say, here's an opportunity that meets your targets, and the only human interaction is saying yes or no. And then an ecosystem of AI agents will prepare a bid for us and submit that to a client, and a client will have an ecosystem of agents who will read that bid and make a decision.
You're scaring me now.
Like, I don't think it's tomorrow. I don't think we're there, but I think there is a future where more and more of what we do is taken away from us. So the only thing we have left
Is to govern it. Right.
And how we feed it the information that makes its decisions, and where we decide it's autonomous and where we decide we have a human involvement in that. I think that's where my role's going to head in the future, is helping businesses decide really what AI looks like for them and where their risk level is for what should be autonomous or not. And what those ecosystems look like, what those AI stacks look like, and what you're allowed to do and where those decision points are allowed to be made.
So when you paint that scenario, how are we going to tell the difference in the future between one bidder and another then?
That's the opportunity. Is that not? Isn't that the space for the opportunity? Isn't that the one thing that gives us comfortability that we'll still have jobs? Because the point of difference then becomes the only thing
that you're assessed on.
Yeah.
And the only way to find that is through human ingenuity.
Yeah. The price is the price.
The price is the price. The content is the content.
The commercial conditions. So this is the risk position we're willing to take with our commercial position. And that just is what it is. The price is what it is. You know, the way that we approach our health and safety or our quality, that is just what it is. So what are we giving you that person doesn't have?
And you have to be decided. You have to define that.
You have to
be decided.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming on Chasing the Wind today. It was a fabulous conversation. The food for thought is enormous, and I'm going to digest it all over the short to medium term. And I look forward to our next lunch where we sit down and we might come up with the answers to the questions you've posed.
We might have some answers.
We might.
Yeah.
Thanks again.
Thanks, Kim. Appreciate it.